One thing I want to show is how to do a layer mask and animate it. So in the same way that we have masks in Photoshop, so here I have a mask blocking out the form of the sun, one thing I may want to do is animate the mask to like show the sun disappearing or something. So what I'm going to first do is just give myself a little bit of a rotation, and so hit rotation on the galaxy or on the sun, and I'm going to go to 20 seconds and just give myself one rotation. So I've just got a little bit of motion here. So going, and we'll see it just slowly rotating around, and it's going to load. It's just going a little bit slowly. Let's do half just so it runs a little bit faster. Now to create a layer mask, what I do is I have my layer selected. I'm going to just twirl this one back up. I have my layer selected, and I go to the pen tool at the top, or I can go to the shape tool, but for right now, let's just do the pen tool. And I'm going to draw the shape of the mask that I want. So right now, I'm just drawing a mask, and I'm going to complete my shape, just like how I had in the pen tool. And now you see that it cut off my shape that I had. You'll see now that we have a mask inside the transform properties here. When I drop that down and drop it down, you'll see we have a bunch of options. So inside here, if I do none, we'll see that there's no effect that the mask has. If I do add, it means only add the portion that's inside the mask. If we do subtract, it subtracts all of the stuff that's inside the mask. So say, for example, I want to animate this mask to show the sun disappearing. What I can do is animate the mask path. And so to do that, I'm going to start off by initializing the mask path. And then here, I can go in and move this up. So I'm going to start with it off, jump forward in time. And you'll see that it's sort of spinning around as it goes. This is because it's following the path of the sun. So it's following whatever movements you have on the object. And there's a way to get around that. But for right now, I'm just going to show you if you want it on the object itself. And so now, once it's coming on, I'm going to move it over my object. And if you go to the move tool, you can double click and stretch this out, hit enter. And now you'll see that that actually moves into it like so. So now if I press play, it's going to overtake it and disappear. Rendering a little bit slow. Let's go down to quarter. You'll notice that it has a sharp edge, right? So what I can do is I can increase the feather on this to give it a little bit more softness. The more feather, the more soft the edge. You'll see now it's got a little bit more of a fade out. And just like in Illustrator or Photoshop, just because I created a pen shape with a vertex, you can use ones that are Bezier curves. So the handles here, let's pause this, right? This handle here is a sharp edge. If I go to my pen tool, I have convert vertex, and I can curve this out and curve this out. I can even add in more vertices if I need them. And so if I wanted to do something like animate this, starting here, now when you'll see this slowly rise up into itself. And so this is adding a layer mask on the object itself. And that's kind of nice. See ya. I would do something here with like animating the background just a tiny bit, and you can do something just scale and position. So I would increase the size, V to go back to the move tool, hold down shift to keep it proportional. And I would do something like just having this slowly move over, just so it gives the sense that it's not totally static in the background. Something really subtle. Now if we look at this, click off. It's a really subtle sort of movement in the back, but it adds just this little bit of dynamism. You could even increase the scale as you go along. I initialized the scale, but I didn't do anything with it. But you could if you wanted to. So that's how you do a simple mask on a object. And if you didn't want to spin, I'll show that in the next video. And one last thing is here, if you don't have anything selected and you use the pen tool, it will just create a shape. So it creates a shape layer, which I have not gotten into, but it's created a shape layer currently with no fill and a stroke of 1px. Now it has a stroke of a lot, fill of red. So you can also draw simple shapes inside here as well. But if you don't have the layer selected, it will draw a layer rather than drawing a shape layer rather than drawing a mask.